How many times have you wished that you could be in the mind or in the head of a seller, knowing exactly what they're thinking about? We got a special episode today with Peter Loewy, my friend and mentor and the chairman of Teles Properties, talking about the three top things that sellers are constantly thinking about, especially when you're visiting with them in the living room. So Peter, I want to welcome to the show.
Thanks.
You talked about three things that you always, your three tenets, if you will, on what agents should be thinking about while talking to sellers. And the first thing you talked about was how success loves preparation. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Right. Well, as a seller, you always want to feel that you're working with somebody who knows more about your property than you do. So it's really key that when you decide to go in with a listing, that you have prepared not only the market, but know the house, know the seller, know everything that you possibly can about the particular asset that they want to sell.
Got it. So a good note is not just knowing exactly what's out there from a title record perspective, but really understanding the property almost as well as the owner does.
Exactly, and hopefully more, because you have the ability to research the title. You can see when it was sold before. Is he the first owner? Have there been improvements done to the property during that time frame? Really try and get as much as you can about the property before you go in.
Got it. And now you talked about the second thing, which was how good process drives good results. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Right, and again, it goes back to the first preparation, which is really, as you begin the process, you want to research the title. You want to make sure that you know that how long the individual has owned the property, what they've done to the property, if it's been fixed up, if it's just been a buy and flip, if it's a long-time seller, it's somebody who's been there forever, if it was an inherited property, if there's a trust involved. You really have to know everything about the property, and then secondly about the seller. So, if there's a trust, there's certain things you have to think about, and that can be a totally new video.
Right.
But likewise, if it's the mother's house that the son has now taken over, are there sentimental issues there? You have to be careful how you criticize things.
Right.
While if it's a developer and it's a flip house, then again, you have to know what they've done to it, what's the quality of the construction, what they expect as a seller.
Right. And the third thing, having listed and sold over a dozen properties just in the last 12 months, you've had agents in your living room constantly. And the one thing you shared with me was the only way to communicate is to over-communicate on the agent's perspective. Can you talk a little bit about communication and what you think of agents that way?
Right, because when you're doing this, you want to over-communicate after you get the listing. Now, obviously, you have to get the listing, but once you've gotten the listing, you have to then stay in touch with the seller. There's nothing worse than being called by the seller every 2-3 days or week. What's happening with my property? When am I going to be able to sell this thing? You really should be prepared to tell him nothing. If there's nothing new, a call saying, hey, we haven't had any showings, we think it's because the weather's been bad. Or we've had 3 showings and all the feedback that I've gotten is that it's overpriced. So the communication to the seller in a nice way will make it easier, A, to sell the property, B, if you need a price reduction, or C, to just keep that listing if it expires.
Right. So quick takeaways. Number 1, success loves preparation. Number 2, good process drives good results. And number 3, over-communication is the only way.